Welcome back to another 10P ATX chat. I'm here with our new head coach from San Diego, lifelong San Diego resident, who has made his trek out to Austin and has become our head coach. A guy who, when I was a white belt, put it on me. He was still a purple belt, and he's still putting it on me in that same manner to this day. Smaller guy who's such a technician that we're really blessed to have him as a coach. Learning a lot from him so far, and Gabe Tuttle. And Gabe, to start off, I mean, what made you come out here? What was what was your journey to 10th Planet, and then what made you come out here?
Well, I've always been interested in training at a 10th Planet school. At the time, there was when I was living in San Diego, the closest 10th Planet was up in Vista, which is like way north in San Diego. It's about like an hour drive. So I ended up signing up at just like a local school, just kind of getting my feet wet. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to like do jiu-jitsu, see if I even would like jiu-jitsu. But when I started training, little by little, started taking over my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But about a year into my training, I just saw there was a random MMA gym hosting Eddie Bravo for a seminar. They did not advertise very well. I did not know there was a 10th Planet opening up. But I was like, oh shit, Eddie's doing a seminar, dude. I gotta go hit that up, gotta check it out, see what it's about. So I showed up. It's a fat 10th Planet San Diego banner. Richie, Gio were there. And, that ended up being the grand opening of the school. I ended up signing up that day. It was only like 15 minutes from my house, that new location that they opened up in, so it's super convenient, made sense. I ended up signing up that day. I had intentions.
What year was that?
So that was in 2015.
And that was
January 3rd, 2015.
Was that right after they had gotten their black belts and it was time for them to open school?
So Gio had his black belt for, I think, about like 6 months maybe. He got promoted, I believe, after winning ADCC trials.
Right.
You'll have to fact check me there, I could be wrong.
Okay.
But he had his black belt a little bit early before Richie did. Richie actually got it that day. So the day his school opened, 10th Planet San Diego, he got his black belt. So that was pretty cool. That was the first time I met Richie, but I was actually there for his black belt promotion too, which was pretty special.
And then he
especially now,
gave you
obviously, given our relationship. So man, it was pretty cool to be there for that. So yeah, the day he opened his school was the day he got his black belt.
Right,
so
right.
I actually had intentions of doing some cross training at the other school I was at. I was still playing around a little bit in the gi, not too much. Like I said, I was only training for like about a year prior, but yeah, little by little, I realized I was never probably going to go back to that spot. I was just having so much fun training with Richie and Gio and the whole 10th Planet San Diego team, the whole 10th Planet Freaks team down in San Diego. I just, when you go to a gym, man, and you feel at home, that was my home, and I knew right from day one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I was still a white belt at the time, 2015. Richie did.
So 2014 was when you started. So and you got your black belt last year.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, at the end of the year last year. So I got my black belt in just under 6 years.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, once you go to no-gi, I mean, especially for a small athletic guy like yourself,
sure.
The game, and it's something that I started at gi and then got into no-gi, and the school I started at, I think, Silver Fox continues to have more and more no-gi,
sure.
more and more no-gi,
absolutely.
because it's coming, being part of Henzo from the Donner Death Squad, and all their success in no-gi.
Sure.
It's kind of moving around that, and it's
Right.
spreading, and the excitement of it all. And one thing that I was talking to you about is that I know you're not a football guy, but we talked about Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh is this guy who I look at as an Eddie Bravo equivalent in football. Yeah. And what has happened is that Eddie now has this coaching tree. In football, they're called coaching trees. And he has this coaching tree of all these guys like Boogie and like Gio and like yourself now, who now have taken his system, like Bill Walsh has something called the West Coast Offensive System.
Yeah. And
you've taken the system and now you've made it your own. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, what do you feel like the general philosophy that you learned about the sport of jiu-jitsu from both of your main coaches? What's the style of play that you understood? Is there any sort of general overarching theme about the sport that you learned from them that is deeper than just a technique, but just like a general approach to the sport?
Right. Well, as you know, and most of the people probably watching this know, Richie and Gio came from a breakdancing background.
Yeah.
So, the way that they've always approached jiu-jitsu is really in like an art form. They look at, dancing's an art for them. Jiu-Jitsu's an art for them. So it's always been like very creative and free flowing.
I picked that up from Gio
For sure.
since he's come here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know they're very creative with their style and just their outlook is just very like fun and like playful.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, you know they're all about hard work. You know, breakdancing is not an easy thing to get involved with, especially on like a high level. And you know neither is jiu-jitsu. So the work ethic is there, but they always have a way to keep it fun. You know,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, I think one of the reasons why I never got burned out. You know, I was doing most of my training with Richie down in San Diego. You know, Gio was mainly running and is mainly running the Oceanside location,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
also kind of in North San Diego, North County. But so I spent most of my time down with Richie in San Diego. But you know, Richie is all about just drilling. You know, just putting in the work, putting in the hours on the mat. So, you know, even though we are in there having fun, being creative, messing around, trying to, you know, figure out some fun flows and some fun techniques, we're always in there drilling. We're always in there working hard. You know, there were times when I was, you know, coming up, you know, like blue belt, purple belt, you know, there were many weeks in there where I'm getting in, you know, 3 sessions a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So I was able to not really get burnt out because of that fun kind of creative.
Yeah. I feel like
style.
we've got the same thing, similar thing here, which is just like people. I mean, the thing is that I play football. It's not as fun as this. It's not as fun as this atmosphere because it's just like we're serious about it, but it's chill. It's laid back. You know, we're making sure that we're always laughing. We're fucking around a little bit, just enough to have fun. And one of the things too, when I was saying about the artist, you talking about the artistry with Gio, is that from that breakdancing, he went over some move while he was here that just really opened my eyes to the ability to just spin yourself around on your back and create confusion for the other person as well, right? The way he moves on the ground and the variables he's throwing at you is difficult to contend with. So there's this artistry there that he's become so adept because of his background. There's that artistry that is, you know, there was something about him grabbing a leg and coming here and then coming around to the back. It's just, but one of the things that's fascinating about you is that I feel like you also look at it very mathematically. I feel like you look at it as if then, like I wrote it down. It was wherever. If this, then that. If that, then this. Yeah. Like it's a continual if-then statement with you. And how is that? Is that an accurate approach? Representation of your approach?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm very big about the why. You know, like why are we doing what we're doing? You know, we're drilling technique and I'm teaching technique. You know, I do like to be as conceptual as I can. Whereas like my teaching style actually it differs from like Richie a lot. You know, I would say I teach a little bit more similarly to Gio. You know, Gio's a little bit more about the why, like, hey, why are we doing this? And a little bit more philosophical, you know, when he's teaching technique. Whereas, you know, Richie, like I said, he's all about drilling, getting the reps. He says, hey, this is what we're doing. Let's get it done. Yeah. Let's grind on it. But, you know, I think in order for people to really grasp a technique, you know, they definitely do need the reps. So that, you know, that comes with anything you're doing. You can't get around building the muscle memory and getting the repetitions in. You need that regardless.
Because one of the things about this system is we do so many reps that you just realize yourself doing stuff that you might not even know the language of yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you were saying.
Yeah, but you know, another important aspect of that is just understanding the thought process behind it. You know, so if you know I'm taking a technique, I've got this approach. You know, I have to understand what my end goal is. You know, kind of what the other person's goals are, you know, kind of what they're looking for. And then I'll be able to problem solve myself without having to necessarily remember a specific pathway, a specific technique. You know, if I see a roadblock here, okay, well, I know what the end result should be. So I can alter my approach a little bit, you know, if needed. We can problem solve on the fly. So yeah, I'm very big about that philosophical or mathematical, like kind of analytical approach.
With the way you roll, and then you were working over something the other day, me and you, just briefly seeing how I reacted and seeing what the options were off of that for you, and it made me realize the way that you're trying to bring someone into like a dead end. You're trying to make it so that cause I feel that when we're rolling, especially now that I just saw you do it singularly and we're about to get to it, preparing for this match on Friday.
Sure.
I can feel it when you roll is that there's nowhere to go.
Right.
You just make it so there's nowhere to go.
Sure.
And I just feel like that's a fascinating piece of the sport that to just, as from a philosophical level, is that how do we get this person to a dead end where whatever their reaction is, they have no good reaction. Correct. Other than now you're just deeper into this thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. Yeah, you put a web out there and you don't give them a real good pathway, you know. So that's like, I try to build my game to have a good dynamic, like a good like symbiotic dynamic, you know. So if you're doing one thing to defend one thing I'm doing, it's leading you right in to my other like A game, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. You set like 8 traps for people and they can run wherever they want to. You know?
And I was talking about route trees in football. Like I was a receiver in college, right? And part of the routes that you're running is making it so the defender, the cornerback, doesn't know where you're going. So it's part of that, like the artistry of running routes that now I know as a 30-year-old rather than at 20 when I was actually doing it.
Sure.
Is that like, you know, setting it up. Like, yeah, you're running a slant, which is 3 steps up and in, but like how do you set that up so that he doesn't realize you're running a slant and you've created more space? Because the goal is how much space can you create in football, right? How much space can you create from that defender where, you know, the quarterback has this wide open window to throw into and you've got space to run, right? And so on this, one of the main reasons we got you on here right now is you got a big match on Friday.
Yeah, big match for sure.
And how do I say his first name?
Caio Terra.
Caio Terra, right? I don't want to be disrespectful because I mean he's a very
Caio's a legitimate like living legend. You know?
Yeah.
He's a 12-time black belt world champion, countless other accolades and big matches that he's won. You know, many regard Caio as, you know, one of the greatest competitors of all time.
Yeah.
So, and rightfully so.
And a great teacher too, right? He has schools out in California.
So he's up in I think like the San Fran area. He actually came through and taught a seminar at the Freak Summit last year in San Diego. So
I
got to take that. That was cool. He was going over like a lot of De La Riva stuff. But dude, it's a huge match, and you know, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to go up there. Very excited. I think there's a lot of areas where I can legitimately threaten some submissions, and that's what I'm going to be going for. You know, that's obviously, you know, coming from Richie and Gio, training under those guys. Another, you know, big aspect of their game and their approach is always going for the kill, always trying to be exciting, always attacking. You know, at the end of the day, that is what jiu-jitsu is about. It's about the finish.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going out there and necessarily wrestling for positional dominance, right?
Yeah.
We're going out there to submit the other person.
Yeah. And to be exciting.
Yeah.
And to be exciting too, right? Sure. I mean that's part of what
you know, I think people would be lying if they said that they found Richie or Gio to be boring.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of one boring match either one of those dudes have ever had. So, I mean, I'm gonna be going out there and trying to make some cool shit happen. So
well, we have complete faith in you. I mean, from what we see on the mat every day, you're really, bro. You're much smaller than me, and you beat the hell out of me every time, and in a way that the big guys do. So I mean, we're excited to have you. We're glad you're here at 10th Planet Austin, and we're excited for this Friday at Fight to Win 146.
Yes.
On Flo Grappling.
It's going to be on Flo. And we actually have some other people in the card too, so you know, we'll give them a shout out as well. We got Zach Edwards fighting as well. He's one of our brown belts. He was coming down here rather from 10 Planet Bethlehem.
Yep.
So he just is pretty new on the team as well. He just came out to Austin, I think back in like February.
Yep.
So he's on the card. We got one of our purple belts, Lauren Sears, on the card. We have
Fujawa.
We got Adam on the card.
Yeah.
You know, he's another one of our new purple belts. We have Colt on the card, one of our blue belts, so he's making his Fight to Win debut. That should be fun. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, and he's been killing it lately too.
He's been putting in a lot of work. And we have some other guys representing the 10 Planet affiliation. Yeah, like we got brothers on the card as well. Training mainly down with San Antonio with like Ant Lopez.
Yep.
And
then one more.
Matt Cox from San Diego, one of my old teammates. He just got his brown belt, so he's making his brown belt debut.
Nice. And then Kamoy Anderson from...
we got Kamoy from El Paso as well, 10 Planet El Paso.
Yeah.
So, man, we got a good squad out here. I'm real excited to see all of them compete as well. So,
so that's Friday night. I think it's at 7.
I think it starts at 5.
It starts at 5.
But, yeah, it's going to be running late, probably till about 10 o'clock. So.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks, y'all, for listening. Gabe, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Excited.
And, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.